Just about every week here on YMYW, Joe and Big Al talk about converting your retirement savings to Roth accounts. But why? What's the big deal? Today, the IRA guru, Ed Slott CPA, returns to Your Money, Your Wealth in podcast number 526 to tell us why he calls the Roth IRA the greatest account ever created. Here's a hint, it's all about having tax-free income in retirement. Plus, where to prioritize saving for retirement. Jerry Tom in St. Louis wants to know, are Christian and Tiffany in Montana on track for retirement, and should they rebalance their ETFs? Should Frank and Lake Wobegon's wife take her teacher's salary over 9 months or 12 months? And finally, John thinks the target retirement withdrawal rates that Joe and Big Al use to spitball are too low. We'll see what they think. I'm executive producer Andy Last here with the hosts of Your Money, Your Wealth, Joe Anderson CFP and Big Al Clopine CPA, and our special guest, Ed Slott CPA.
You know, we were just talking about how when we have a tax issue, we're much more likely to go to your website than the IRS website because your answers are written in English, clear and concise, understandable, and the IRS is not quite so much that way.
Well, they're rigid. They have to stick to the, this is code section 40189 and this and that, and it's regs and this.
Yeah.
And some people just want to know, can I do this or not?
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about, you and I have talked about Roth IRAs, Roth conversions. Yeah. I know you're a very big proponent in that, but let's talk about what they are, what a Roth IRA is, and why. Why do people want to get money in the Roth?
Roth IRA is a miracle. It's the greatest account ever created because everything, it is, there's no question. It's the greatest account to have because everything in there grows income tax free for the rest of your life, and even under the new rules under the Secure Act, 10 years beyond to your beneficiaries. Imagine getting a statement in the mail and saying, this is my Roth IRA balance, and it's all mine. I don't have to share it with the government. I don't have to share it with Uncle Sam. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it's a great account. The only question is, how much are you willing to pay to get it?
Right, because
that's the catch.
That's the catch, and I think it was 1997 where it first came into play from Senator Roth.
Yes.
And,
August 5th, 97.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
It happened to be my birthday. I wasn't born that day, but that was my birthday.
That was your birthday. So thinking about Roth, you can do Roth.
I actually have the plaque up in my office, the Wall Street Journal. I happened to be in the article that day it was passed, but not because of the Roth. Most people didn't even know that was in there until it came out. It was some homeowner provision that they made, a tax benefit.
Right. Oh, that's great. So thinking about the Roth IRA, you can do Roth contributions, which is kind of a smaller amount, or you can do a Roth provision in a 401k or 403b if your company or organization has it. You can get more in that way. But a Roth conversion, that's
the big one.
That's the big one. That's where you take money that you haven't paid tax on yet. You got a tax deduction, 401k, IRA, and you convert it. And I think a lot of people don't realize there's no limitations on conversions. There's limits on how much you can contribute to an IRA or a 401k. Roth conversion, you can convert any amount you want. You don't have to be working. It's just what makes sense for you.
Right. The only limitation is your own pain threshold for how much tax you're willing to pay in 1 year.
Right. Yeah, I think that's well said. So let's talk about how should people be thinking about Roth conversions and tax brackets, and how do you think about that?
Well, what you just hit is the fundamental principle to always paying the least amount in taxes, which is what everybody wants to do. And I call it one of my core always rules, and it's so simple to save money in taxes. Always pay taxes at the lowest rates. That's it.
Right.
If you can always get your money out, like out of your IRA, tax-deferred accounts, at the lowest rate, you'll always end up with more. And that's what this is, moving money from an IRA, a taxable, tax-deferred account, and paying tax. If you can get the money out at the low rates and convert to a Roth, you'll be a winner in almost every case. But you have to use the brackets, and the brackets are great now. We have the lowest rates historically in history, and giant brackets at 12%, 22, 24%.
Sure.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars can pass through those brackets and still be in these unbelievably low historic rates. Everybody complains about taxes, but these are the good old days. Because I think taxes are going to go up. I don't see any way they'll ever go down.
Right. And I think that's right. I mean, the past several years with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, we've had these lower rates, and they're set to sunset this year.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that.
No, I think
Tell me why.
Well, because the Congress, the Senate, House, Senate, the administration, they're all Republicans, so it's going to pass, and that's great. They'll extend the tax cuts probably for a few more years. I don't know how many more years, but every year they extend these tax cuts. That's more years you can use these low brackets and take advantage and start bringing down this taxable IRA and bringing up tax-free accounts, tax-free savings in your Roth. Plus, to leave a Roth to beneficiaries. Imagine beneficiaries getting it, and they don't have to pay tax on it for 10 years after death.
Have you ever heard this question or this statement from people, which is, I don't want to put money in a Roth IRA because they're just going to tax it later someday. Just like Social Security, they told us they weren't going to tax it, now they tax it.
Yeah, I've heard it, but not as nice as you've said it. That's the number one question I get at all these consumer programs. I do them around the country. And they don't say it as nice as you, but mostly the version is, I talk about the Roth just like we're talking. Somebody will always stand up and say, but can I trust the government to keep their word that they won't tax it in the future? And these are people, just like you said, that can't let the whole Social Security thing go from 30 or 40 years ago.
Right.
You know, they said that would never be taxed, and they lied, and I don't trust them.
Right.
So the question is, can I trust the government to keep its word that Roth IRAs will always be income tax free? And the answer is absolutely not. You can't trust the government as far as you can throw them. And as a CPA, we have an old saying, tax laws are written in pencil.
Right.
And they change. But I'm going to tell you a secret here, just between us.
Okay.
You know what Benjamin Franklin said about secrets?
Let's hear.
3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. So
Got it.
here's
Okay.
the secret. Lucky for all of us, I'll say it quietly.
Okay.
Lucky for all of us, Congress are the worst financial planners on earth. They're so short-sighted, and that works to our favor.
Yeah.
They secretly, don't say it too loud, addicted to love Roth IRAs. Why? Because they're so short-sighted, they only look at the money that comes in up front.
They look at what they can see it right in front of them.
The budgets, the 10 years, the 2-year budget cycles.
Right.
The only money that can get into a Roth is already taxed money. And that's why, since the Roths were created, and the big shift started in 2010, if you remember, before 2010, you couldn't convert to a Roth IRA if your income exceeded $100,000.
That's great.
Back then, just like now, Congress needed money, and they eliminated that provision. And that brought in the floodgates of money, including mine. I converted everything then because they gave people the deal of the century.
Right.
Do you remember that deal?
Yeah, you could pay the tax over 4 years.
No, 2 years. That was the original
Oh,
law.
that was the original deal.
I converted everything. As a matter of fact, just in the session to the American College here a few hours ago, I said to the group of advisors, I guess they didn't remember, I said, I converted everything. I begged you guys to take that deal when you were at my seminars.
Right.
I took my own advice. I converted everything in 2010, and I threw out to the group, how much tax did I pay? And some people say, well, you didn't tell us the rates and this. I paid nothing, 0. It was a deal of the century, and they're thinking, how did I miss this?
Right.
The deal was you paid nothing in 2010, half in 11 and half in 12.
That's right. Yep.
But in essence, the government gave everyone an interest-free loan to build a tax-free savings account.
Right.
It was unbelievable. So, and obviously I didn't know about can you imagine the growth in that Roth from 2010 to where we are now?
Right. 15 years later.
So Congress saw the boatload of money that came in, and they said, ooh, this is good, not realizing, they're not getting any of that revenue ever again.
Yeah.
So then they kept expanding Roth 401ks, and then in Secure 2.0, they went Rothomania crazy. SEP Roth IRAs, simple Roth IRAs, 529 to Roth, matching contribution to Roth, catch-up contribution to Roth, because they wanted the money up front. They love Roth IRAs because they're so short-sighted. So I would say don't worry about it, because Congress, they may trim around the edges, but if they do anything that kills the golden goose, there goes their revenue source that they're counting on to fund every tax bill.
Do you think someday some Congress down the road will figured this out and
No.
realized we're in trouble?
No, they keep kicking the can down the road. And I still believe they're
Yeah.
going to have to, because as a CPA and accountant, I have to believe in math. And I look at these deficit and debt levels. I don't even know what the debt is. It was last I saw 38, 39 trillion. All I know is if you have to round up to the nearest trillion, that's a problem.
It's a problem, right?
Yeah. So we have the highest debt levels ever, the lowest revenue from taxes ever.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this can go on before they're going to lower the boom and tax people on money in their IRAs. I
Right.
think tax-deferred accounts, IRAs, 401ks, are sitting ducks for future tax increases. They're
Right.
the low-hanging fruit for
Right.
Congress.
Right.
And I don't want to have a large IRA when the music stops on this stuff.
You know, you think about money in a IRA, 401k, and it hasn't been taxed yet.
Yeah.
And you think about the Roth IRA, which they've already paid taxes on it, but then it's like, what's going to happen in the future? And the way things are going, eventually, I would tend to agree with you. Eventually, it seems like tax rates have to come up, because how do we afford everything we're trying to pay
I don't know
for?
how it's possible. And if tax rates do go up, you're a big winner with the Roth.
Right.
Even if they stay the same, so then it's a wash.
Right.
And the odds of tax rates going down are nil. So the Roth is just a big bet on where we are today, tax rates today versus tax rates in the future. And I think that's a pretty good bet. Imagine you were making a bet like in Las Vegas or something, a blackjack, and the
Right.
dealer showed you all his cards. That's a pretty
Right.
good bet.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bet. So okay, so let's pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Secure Act,
Okay.
Secure Act 2.0, and the death of the stretch IRA for most people. I mean, there's
Right.
a 10-year period, and
Yeah.
there are a few people can still do it, but most can't. So they've got to get the money out within 10 years. And how do you think about that? What strategies, or how do you tell people to plan for that?
That was a game changer, because the plans people had before that, and when I was doing programs all over the country before the Secure Act, I said, oh, the stretch IRAs are great because they
Yeah.
can go out 30, 40, 50 years,
Sure.
and you're talking about a massive deferral.
Yeah.
That all ended. Why? Congress needed money.
Right.
Here's a little something, another secret about Congress.
Okay.
After studying tax law for over 40 years, one thing I've noticed is constant. Whenever Congress names a tax law, you can almost always bet that whatever they name it, it will do exactly the opposite. So when I heard the Secure Act is coming, I said to myself, hold on to your wallets. And sure enough, it was a money grab. They needed revenue, so they said, nope, we're not waiting 30, 40, 50 years. We'll wait 10 years at most. So
Got it.
now they've closed the window. They pushed in the window when all this buildup in tax-deferred IRAs and 401ks have to come out, and it's going to come out like a fire hydrant, and massive tax increases for people.
Right.
So that's what made IRAs and 401ks tax-deferred accounts. That downgraded those as a vehicle for wealth transfer or estate planning, especially to the beneficiaries who are going to get hit by the end of the 10th year after death. So, so the stretch IRA for most people, beneficiaries, is no more. So that means if you're listening to this or watching this and you had a plan before 2020 when the Secure Act took effect, that plan probably doesn't work anymore.
Right.
It behooves you to look at your plan, work with an advisor, a financial advisor that has a specialized knowledge, because you need an advisor that knows how to navigate this and make the changes and let you know where the problems are, why your current plan doesn't work, and what alternatives are available. And the alternatives we've talked about, things like Roth IRAs, bringing down the IRA balance while tax rates are on sale in effect.
Yeah, good point.
And moving to other tax-free vehicles like life insurance. That's a good choice. Anything will be better than the taxable IRA.
Yeah, because you got to pay the tax on it one way or another, no way around it. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize the Roth IRA, it still follows that 10-year rule. You got to have the money out in 10 years, but it's tax-free.
Yeah,
it's not pushing kids up into higher brackets.
Right, and when we talk about kids, we always say the kids, but the inheritors, the beneficiaries, they're in their 50s.
Yeah, right.
And they may be in their own highest earnings years.
Good point.
The last thing they need to inherit, not like it's a horrible thing, oh, I inherited money. I worked so hard for it.
Right.
But still, the worst thing can be is to inherit a taxable account that gets blasted with taxes in that 10th year after death.
Right.
With a Roth, they don't have to touch it to the end of the last day of the 10th year after death, growing, accumulating, and compounding income tax free for them.
Yeah. I want to pivot just a little bit for your IRA.
That's a second pivot. That's two pivots.
Okay, I get two per interview, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about beneficiary designations. A lot of people like to name their trust, which isn't necessarily a great idea.
Well, no, there is a reason to name a trust, and that's a question I get. I got it at the last seminar I just did here. Advisors always want to know, because their clients want to know, when should I name a trust as my IRA beneficiary? My answer is, when do you name a trust? When you don't trust. Because if you trusted them, you wouldn't need a trust. They should have called it a don't trust. That's when you name a trust, when you don't trust. When you want post-death control. And that's a big issue for a lot of clients I've dealt with over the years. They have a large IRA, $2 million, $3 million. I remember a client telling me years ago, I've got $3 million in an IRA. I don't even need it. I want my kids to get it, and my grandkids, but I don't want them blowing it. I worked too hard for this money. I want to control this after death so they don't squander it. They're always worried about what the kids will do, bankruptcy, lawsuits, divorce. They're worried about managing money, everything. But the number one fear I used to get from clients is they would say, it's not my kids I worry about, it's the ones they marry.
And
that was a big concern. I had all this money, and it may end up going to some daughter-in-law or son-in-law I never even met. And they name a trust. But now, because of the Secure Act, I would never leave an IRA to a trust, because it's such a horrible asset. Trust tax rates are the highest in the land. The better option, you still may need a trust if you want that control. So I'm not saying trusts are bad. Trusts have a use. It's just IRAs are now a horrible asset to a disaster to leave to a trust. Better option, if you have a large IRA and you're in that situation I just said, and you want control after death, better option is bite the bullet, convert that IRA to a Roth IRA, and leave the Roth to the trust. That eliminates all the trust taxes, and you can get the post-death control and protection that you want.
That's great advice. Now, would you do that through your living trust, or would this be a separate IRA trust?
No, it doesn't. Well, with the Roth, it could be a separate IRA trust. But what's even better and it's easy with the Roth, because there's almost no rules. All that has to happen, remember, there's no income tax. And there's no RMDs in the years 1 through 9 of the 10-year term. So all that you have to know is that at the end of the 10 years, the money either stays in the trust, it's not taxed, or it goes out to the beneficiary, or it's doled out according to how you want your beneficiaries to get it. So it's very easy to name a trust as a Roth IRA beneficiary. It's very complicated. It was before with the IRAs, but we put up with that because we had the stretch IRA. Now the IRA has no more redeeming qualities, so we don't need that anymore. It's like in baseball, starting baseball season now. You can have a guy that hits a lot of home runs, and all at the right time. In the World Series, in the playoffs, you love that guy. Except nobody likes him. He's a problem. He's in every scandal, but you put up with him because he hits home runs. If he stopped hitting home runs, you get rid of him. That's an IRA. There's no more redeeming qualities. It used to work, now it doesn't, so let's move on. But probably the best asset to leave to a trust when you want that control is life insurance, because it doesn't even have the rules that Roth IRAs do. You can customize your own plan. So you could take money down out of your IRA, pay the tax. Now, I wouldn't do this before 59 and a half because there's a penalty situation. Pay the tax, get it out at low rates. Remember, always pay taxes at the lowest rate. So you're getting rid of this problem, the IRA, putting the money, and I'm talking about permanent cash value life insurance that goes tax-free. And that's the best asset. If you still need to control it for your kids, you can have any provision you want. You don't even have to worry about income taxes. You don't have to worry who the beneficiaries are, what categories they're, who are the remainder beneficiaries. There's no taxes. You can actually get the plan you want. You don't have to go through all these tax landmines and an obstacle course of rules.
Wow. You are a wealth of information, as always. You've given us a lot to think about, Ed. I really
great to be here.
appreciate
Thanks.
chatting with you and you taking the time.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Kiplinger agrees with Ed and Joe and Big Al on Roth IRAs. They say that investing in a Roth account is one of the smartest money moves a young person can make. However, there are rules. So make sure you know them before you go jamming all your money into a Roth and end up paying a bunch of penalties. Download the complete Roth Papers package to understand how Roth accounts work so you can take full advantage of their lifetime tax-free growth. This bundle of Roth guides is packed with valuable information about Roth contributions and conversions, the backdoor Roth strategy for when you make too much money to contribute directly to a Roth, and the rules for taking money out of your Roth IRA. Plus, you'll learn the differences and the pros and cons of saving in a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA versus a Roth 401k, and much more. Click or tap the link in the episode description and download the complete Roth Papers package for free.
Let's go Jerry Tom. Jerry Tom instead of Tom and Jerry.
That's what it said.
So.
I suppose there's a
Tom.
chance that's really his name, but
Jerry Tom? All right. Hello, I've been listening for about a year, and I love the show. Usually people last about a month.
If someone lasts a year, we know they must be a fan.
It's like, yeah, all these emails I come. I just caught your show. I love it. And then like 2 months later, it's like, nah.
I hear from people now who say, I'm just in it for the hang. I just want to like hang out with you guys and listen to the silliness.
Got it.
Just can't handle it anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too painful.
Because I'm snarky or whatever. What's that? What's the word?
Yeah, snarky is one of them.
Right?
Yeah, snarky.
Hurt.
Snarky's a good one.
Okay, whatever. Hello, I've been listening for about a year and I love the show. Hoping to bring down the median age a little bit here. I'm 35, wife's 33. Live in St. Louis and have 2 children under the age of 5.
Okay.
Okay. I enjoy light beer on the golf course and enjoy a little margarita on the rocks. Okay. Got something in common here, Jerry Tom.
That sounds a little like you,
No?
except he's a bit younger.
Oh, not. He's like a pitching wedge away.
Pitching wedge.
Yeah, you're a driver for sure.
Oh, you're at least a hybrid.
It's definitely a wedge.
It's not a wedge.
Our
I'll give you a 6 iron.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the way you hit it.
Oh boy.
Our tendency plan is to buy a couple new cars, preferably a little Toyota or Honda in the cash and drive them for about 10 years. We currently have household income around $300,000. We peaked at $350,000 last year. We are top earners in our relative professions so that we do not expect any real increases in wages in the future. We believe we have been fortunate to make what we do and save what we have in the recent years. See below for our current savings. Here's a primary question, though. Been working towards a pretty even distribution 3-bucket strategy, believing that this may actually be the height of our earning potential in taxation. Would it be reasonable to be contributing some of our income to pre-tax? Hope to retire around 55 to 60, so plenty of room for Roth conversions. Current sell options on the side pretty conservatively and would hope to continue that throughout working years into retirement. So he's selling options, current sell options on the side. So he's selling options on the side pretty conservatively. Selling options. Is that like puts? That's
Could be.
I don't know. Selling options in conservatively.
Well,
sometimes
usually doesn't go together,
Okay,
but if it's covered, maybe I don't know.
I got it. Okay, the only debt we have is $250,000 left on a mortgage with 2.875% interest rate. It's worth about $550,000. We will have a healthy amount of Social Security, but not planning on it. Want to spend $10,000 a month in today's dollars. Second question. Okay, what's the first question, bro?
Well, he wanted. So I think what he's asking, he wants to know where to save. He's got tax deferred, tax free, and taxable. And
Okay,
he's doing a third. Is
So
that
he's got
right?
$250,000 in pre-tax. He's got $300,000 in Roth. He's got $331,000 in post-tax or a brokerage account.
Yep.
And another $85,000 in 529 plans. Okay.
Yep.
So should he go pre? All right. Second question is, do we have some opportunity to save less going forward? Been investing $150,000 in the last 3 years or so. Man.
Okay, well, that's how you have 900,000 at age
31.
35.
That's giant.
It's it's unheard of,
Oh
Jerry
my
Tom.
God. Geez,
Very,
Gary
very good.
Tom, maybe stop drinking the light beer and go to something heavier. Planning to reduce savings, most likely to an average of only 80,000.
Really? Is that all you can
Come
work
on.
out?
Oh, conservatively,
Yeah.
All right. Max out Roths in both 401k, 403b, $500 a month into Acorns account that is likely to pay cash for the cars, not considered in retirement savings, and then $250,000 a month to 529 plan since we have a pretty good start. Any excess savings is funneled in the brokerage where I sell options. Okay, so he's selling options in his brokerage account.
Yep.
Why are you selling options at 31 years old in a brokerage account? I would just go hog wild.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either myself.
I mean, is he trying to create income?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if he likes it. If he
maybe
likes
he has fun with it. Maybe he does well.
Maybe he enjoys it.
But I mean, how many times have you heard of stories where people sell options and end up losing a lot of money?
Yeah. But I mean, it depends on the risk.
Yep.
I don't mind taking on more risk at 31 and when you're saving 150,000. I mean, this is a person that can make up for some mistakes here.
That's
right?
true.
Most people,
Right.
and you're right. You're bringing the median age down a bit. Most of the listeners don't have the time or don't have $150,000 a year that they could replenish their nest egg.
Right.
Should I go pre-tax? The answer is, in my opinion, no. I would continue to jam Roth all day, every day, just because you're not going to remember the tax savings that you have today. You're going to remember how much money that you have in tax-free when you need the money, when you want to spend the money. I know Al's going to say pre-tax because of the income that you're in, but I would say Roth. It's like,
yeah, I won't necessarily say. I think I agree with you, and I'll say another reason why. It's because you're in the 24% bracket right now, which is a great bracket. And will this be around forever? Probably not, right? So yeah, I get the theory, right? You have pre-tax, you get a tax deduction, you do Roth conversions when you're retired and making less money. You're saving so much money, you may have more income than you think when you retire, and you're in a low bracket right now. So I would go all Roth right now as well.
you got $1 million at 35 years old. He wants to retire at 50. Or let's say 50 to 55.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hope to retire around 55 or 60.
Yeah.
So 35 that goes to 45. That million is now 2 million. If he doesn't save another dime.
Yeah, but he's saving
$150,000 a year. Like, can I tone that down and go to like
maybe
80?
maybe only 80. So
He's gonna have millions.
of course, which is going to produce income.
You're right. And it's all because all that extra, there's only so much money that you can put in retirement accounts. Most of that money is going to go into his brokerage account anyway.
Right.
I'd be careful with the option strategy though. How much income is that spitting out, or is he hedging this? Is he leveraging this? I would like to know maybe a little bit more, or how much of that is he doing? Because you want to be a little bit more tax sensitive as this thing continues to build and grow for you. But I would go Roth. That's at 31, making that. Congratulations on the diligence that you're doing in regards to savings. He's going to buy a Toyota or a Honda. He probably drinks Busch Light.
Probably. And that Toyota's going to run for 200,000 miles at least.
Some of the cheapest beer out there on the golf course that he's probably playing a Muni.
Yeah, PBR maybe.
Yeah, a little PBR me. Yeah, I don't know. This is pretty phenomenal stuff here, Gary Tom. I just don't understand the name. And I just don't understand the option strategy. But besides that, everything's okay in my book.
I think I'm kind of with you. I guess if Jerry Tom were my son, I would probably say, be careful on the options. They can be tricky.
Okay, let's keep a plug in.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Andy, Al, Joe. I need your help in the form of a big soggy spitball. Okay. Here we go. I'm a 56-year-old dentist and my wife is 37. We live in Montana with 3 kids who are 4, 8, and 9. Man, 56 and you got a 4, 8, and 9.
That's ringing a bell.
A little bit. A little bit.
I will mention the fact that the subject line on his email was Joe should relate.
Oh yeah, I see.
No,
Yep.
no, he's
Now
good.
I know you're a fair bit younger, but I think you're in the same zip code there.
Yeah, it could be. That's another wedge.
Yeah, I'll give you a 60 on that one.
Oh man, Montana. I
Yeah.
gotta get to Montana, man. I'm just like
Oh, you haven't been?
all I watch is like Yellowstone and then
Oh yeah, yeah,
11, what's that, 1821?
yeah.
1821?
I love Glacier National Park.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great
I don't
place.
think I would go there, but
You would find a bar,
I would
honky tonk bar
find a nice little tavern. Maybe go
next to a
little-
golf course.
I go a little horseback ride, maybe.
There you go.
Okay, so let's go here. I drive a 2000 Chevy Silverado half ton, of course, here in Montana, which I've owned for 25 years and plan on still driving it until I box out
Box out.
Oh,
Wow.
boy.
Okay.
or my family strips me from my driving privileges. Bro, come on, Chris, you're 56. You're not 86. Box out. Oh,
That
never
came
heard
up
of
on the show several episodes ago. Somebody said that, and I think it has kind of resonated with the listeners because a few people have used it
Okay.
since.
Okay.
Yeah.
As they go out in a pine box, you know.
No, I'm gonna box out.
You know, my neighbor who's not very diligent on landscaping projects, he dug like 3 holes in the front yard, you know, between the two houses.
Are you one of those neighbors? Are you called the HOA on them?
No, I haven't, but this reminds me of that because I went over there. I saw this pile of dirt. It's been there for 2 weeks, which is not uncommon. And anyway, I go over there and there's 3 little boxes with pets' names.
Oh boy.
So I guess that's going to be the graveyard. but-
Yeah. Well, leave
So
it
so
alone.
far they're above ground.
Got it. Well, he's sensitive.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to put him in yet.
Probably not.
Yeah,
It
it's-
misses him.
Thanks for that story, Big.
I thought that would add a lot of color.
That was terrible. Oh God. My wife drives a 2019 Suburban. She's the one with the common sense and the person you actually want to be hanging out with at any sort of social engagement. Okay. My beverage of choice is a refreshing Hams.
Mm.
Oh man, this guy's from Montana for sure.
Do you like hams, Joe?
I haven't had a Hams in years, but yes,
I
in
didn't-
Montana, I would drink a Hams.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah, man. If it's cold,
If it's cold, Joe's going to drink it.
yeah. I mean, there's yeah. I would much rather have a Hams than a hazy IPA or
Yeah, you're
all
not-
the other.
you're not
kind
much
of
for the heavier
fruity-
stuff, are you?
No
Yep.
way. Yeah. Or any other species of beer, for that matter. And I would never refuse an old fashioned, regardless of time of day, unless I'm working, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
love this guy.
Yeah, you can relate, can't
I
you?
can. Tiffany will and does drink just about any form of alcohol, and any of us have ever heard of. She's trouble in the very best way imaginable.
Okay.
I've been listening to your podcast for the past year, and I'm a big fan. All right. Figuratively speaking, I'm only 5'10" and 170 pounds. Man,
Okay.
just built like a brick house like that.
Probably so.
Strong. I mean, he's got that big ass truck. He's drinking Hams.
Yes.
Yeah, little day drinking on Saturday. Old fashioned right at 8:30 in the morning. Start your day.
All right.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your entertaining delivery of an absolute treasure chest of information.
Oh,
All right.
cool.
He's a good writer too.
Yep.
Because
And
it
then
comes
we're-
with so many
and-
compliments.
And you can read it. It's
I
very,
can't
very
look at
clear.
me. It's just I'm just
It's rolling off
I'm
your tongue.
cruising today. I'm planning to work till age 70. While my wife will work until age 59, we should be able to comfortably retire at 2/3 or less of our current income since we will have our mortgage paid off in 6 years. It will no longer be contributing such a high percentage of our income into the retirement investments once we are no longer working. We also plan on selling our home, downsizing considerably once all the kids are off to college and beyond. The kids will be off the household payroll by then. All right. By the time he retires at 70, okay. I was late to the game getting started on my investment portfolio, and I'm trying to play a little catch up. Our household income is just over $300,000, and we're investing $150,000 a year. Jesus.
Another one.
Back to back. Maxing out our Roth 401k plans at work, $31,000 for me because I'm old, and $23,500 for my wife, plus our corporate match of 4%. We are putting the rest into the brokerage account. We have 529 accounts for each of our children, already funded to the level that we should cover the cost of college. We're debt-free aside from our house, which is valued at $1 million, and have $400,000 left on the mortgage at 2% interest, and I'm in no rush to accelerate those payments. All right. We have about $100,000 in emergency fund held in a high interest savings account that's paying 4.35%. I own my dental practice outright and be selling it as a near retirement, but we are not figuring that sale price into our calculation. I'll have Social Security around $60,000 starting at age 70. Between our Roth 401ks and our brokerage account, we have just over $500,000 currently invested, 80% of our portfolios, and concentrated in 6 ETFs. The remaining 20% is split between 10% Bitcoin and 10% individual stocks. Okay, current breakdown of holdings by percentage of the portfolio. Okay, so we got, all right, that's kind of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different positions.
Yep. Okay, so he's
Biggest one is S&P 500 ETF.
He's got the triple Qs.
Yep.
Got some. All right. Do you think that our savings pace is a significant rate to hit our goal by retirement? Would you consider rebalancing these ETFs, adding a different ETF, or dropping any of the ETFs? Thanks so much for your insight in your awesome podcast. Okay, let's do some math here. He's saving $150,000 a year. He has $500,000 currently.
Yeah, I already did the math. So I did 14 years at 6%. With those numbers you just gave me, ends up with 4.3 million.
Yep.
So I just, because I don't know what he's spending right now, I just took 4% of that. I got.
Let's say he makes 300,000. He's saving 150. That gives 150. 50 goes to, it's 100, 125.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So, but I did it this way. I said, well, what could you spend at 70? 4% of 4.3 million is 172. His Social Security at 2% would be 80,000. So 250. Now that was future dollars. If I take that back to current dollars at a 3% inflation rate, I get 165. I think you're right. I think he's spending about 125. So this looks very good. Very good.
Yep.
And
okay.
that's not including the dental practice or wife's Social Security. So anyway.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Would you consider rebalancing the ETFs? Sure. There's a little bit of overlap here. We don't really want to get into specific recommendations in regards to, but it's all Vanguard funds for the most part. Triple Q.
Yeah, mostly.
And,
yeah. I don't know these funds by name. I mean, except for VOO, that's the S&P 500. You want to make sure you have some international.
VGT. Right? Okay, he's got that.
Maybe that's what GARP is. I don't know.
What's GARP? GARP. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
One moment, please.
Okay. I'll tell you.
iShares MSCI USA Quality GARP ETF.
Okay, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, so that's some international. Okay.
Yeah, I like the allocation. Just keep rebalancing as you are. Basically, a really good allocation, I think, for Christian, because he's saving a bunch of money. He's got 16 years. I would probably have 80% in the market, 20% in bonds, and I would slowly, over the next 16 years, kind of get that allocation to probably 60% stocks, 40% bonds.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe up to a third international, 2/3 domestic, or whatever you're comfortable with.
Yep.
Right.
So, and then if you want to play with the different ETFs, I like having multiple funds so that you can rebalance.
I do too.
Because, I mean, if you take a look right now, I mean, I guess date stamp this. We're at the end of March.
Yeah.
This probably won't air till April, but look at how much like international has outperformed U.S.,
Right.
especially like on the small value side of that has
Right.
been underperforming forever.
For more than a decade.
Right. And so you want to have a little bit in each. Diversification will always work. It's just painful as you're going through it because there's going to be a period of time where it doesn't necessarily work, and then all of a sudden it works, and then you'd look back at the 10 years at the differentials, and it's like, oh, wow, it actually does work. But you have to be disciplined in the overall strategy. I think rebalancing, not timing markets, keep it fully invested, keep plugging away, keep saving what you're saving, and keep having fun, man. That's what I would do.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, I gotta plan a trip out to Montana. I'm gonna have some ham,
Hams?
and then yeah, maybe a little old fashioned with Christian and Tiffany. Bring the wife and kids out.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll have a lot in common.
Yeah, the kids could.
What do you think of the 10% Bitcoin?
I don't care. I don't like 10%. I probably like 2%.
Yeah, I would probably tone that down too, but I don't mind some.
Yeah, 10% Bitcoin, 10% in international stocks. I don't know. I would not put any. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to tell him to do anything in regards to the investment because
Yeah,
as
it's
soon as
gonna-
I tell him it's
it's
going to
gonna
do the
triple.
opposite, and then he's like, "You're a jackass. You're not coming to Montana."
He'll sell out and then it'll double.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if I like 10%. Okay, I'll go 5, and then it triples. And it's like, you know what? I could have had all of this money.
I
if
should have
just
done
would-
25%.
If I just
knew
would have
it.
listened to this stupid show.
There are so many risks that can break your retirement plans. What if you outlive your savings or spend too much? What if healthcare costs go sky high? What if you retire in a down market? This week, watch a brand new episode of Your Money, Your Wealth TV. Joe and Big Al show you how to make it in retirement, not break it. Then calculate your likelihood of retirement success with a financial blueprint. Click or tap the financial blueprint link in the episode description. Input your details, and our free tool will analyze your current cash flow, your assets, and your projected retirement spending. It'll output a detailed report with 3 scenarios that'll help you determine your probability of retirement success, including future taxes and actionable steps you can take now to achieve your financial goals. Click or tap the links in the episode description to watch YMYW TV and to get your financial blueprint. If you've got money questions or want your own retirement spitball, click or tap Ask Joe and Big Al in the episode description and send us an email or a voice message like this one.
Hello, Joe, Big Al, and Andy. This is Frank from Lake Wobegon. It's been a couple of years since I called in. I had a question a few years ago, so I think it's time. I've got a specific question about the teaching profession and savings. My car I upgraded from a 2010 Ford Ranger to a 2022 Ford Maverick. If you know anything about Mavericks, it's quite the upgrade. My drink of choice is a Northeast. That has to do with being from Minnesota. And Joe can probably relate to that. Our pets are all on their last legs as we're getting into our 60s, but we've got a cat and we've got a Maltese we named Thor. He weighs all of 12 pounds, and I got to name him. So my question is, and this, you might have to do a little math on this, but, my wife has been taking her salary over 12 months. Even though teachers don't work in the summertime, I would say that in my experience, most teachers take their salary over 12 months, so they have that regular check in June, July, and August. Well, now that I've retired and having time to think too much about finances, I am suggesting, and she's on board with this, that we take her check over the 9 months that she's actually working, January through May, and then September through December, because if when we move to just 9 months of checks, we're going to definitely get, a nice little chunk bigger every month. And what we don't spend, we're going to move that over to our Fidelity brokerages account and make sure we're getting at least 4%. So we're going to make a couple $100 free just by doing this little change. And in my mind, teachers who take their pay over 12 months are actually giving their school district an interest-free loan. So I'd like your thoughts on that. And I appreciate your shows. I've binged them all. And now that I'm retired, when I'm out riding my bike on the trail, I listen every week. So take care and keep up the good work.
All right, Frank.
Okay. When Robbie was a teacher, he took it over 12 months.
Most teachers do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would, if I was a teacher,
Would you?
I think so.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I would probably go.
The problem is you say that, and what Frank said is true. You could make some extra money, But then you have to have the discipline not to overspend. And teachers are usually pretty good at that. But nevertheless, if the money's in the account, it can be a little tricky.
Well, I think it's the same as when people get refunds on their taxes.
Right.
And so because they're withholding too much, and then this is my vacation fund, or hey, we're going to go travel with this. I like to get that big check at the end of the year. It's the same kind of concept. It's like it's a forced savings for them.
Yeah.
But you're giving the IRS an interest-free loan as well. So no, I think Frank's math is dead on. If you have, well, now he's retired, right? I think it's a little bit different because they have to get used to figuring out those months to create their own paycheck.
You know,
I think it would be really good practice.
Right. Although when I retire someday, I actually would like the steadiness. I think that would be cool.
The steadiness of a guaranteed paycheck?
Yeah, whatever form that is. Social Security, pension, rental property. I think I would like the fact that it's consistent or semi-consistent month in, month out.
Well, I think everyone wants that.
Yeah.
That's why we have jobs.
Yeah. Right. That's why I'm still working at this.
Because you don't want to give up that paycheck.
At this advanced stage.
Got it. All right. Thanks, Frank. All right. We got John.
Yeah.
Feel the withdrawal rate suggestions are very low on show.
This is from Twitter. He actually posted, X. He actually posted this on X. And he also left us an Apple Podcasts review saying the same thing.
Okay.
The
creator of the 4% withdrawal rate says it was too low even for him. What, Bill Bengen? He's talking to Billy?
I did some research, and apparently Bill has revised and said you can take 4.7% now.
Yeah, but that was...
No, that was 2021. He just did that.
I know he did.
But others have said 3%. Wade Faust says 5%. It's all over the place.
I think Wade Faust is 3%.
Well,
or did you do some research?
Well, at one point it was 5.2. I remember that because I don't remember the reason why, but at any rate, I guess the real answer is we use 4% because it seems like a conservative rate. Could you use higher? Sure, possibly, but you're safer with a 4%. Should you use lower? Well, if you retire early, maybe you should use lower just because it's a number of years, right? So it's just, as we say many times, it's a guideline. It's not really gospel. It's a guideline.
Yeah. He says a 65-35 portfolio was successful 98% of the time over a 30-year with a 5.9% upper withdrawal rate.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You can data mine a lot of different, years too. If you take a look at expected returns today, giving, bonds and in stocks, what's the assumptions that you're going to run on what stocks are going to do and what bonds are going to do and what cash is going to do.
You look at the last 15 years, you would call that an incredible bull run. Will that continue the next 15? Hard to say,
right.
but the law of averages, we're probably not going to have the same 15 years from now that we did the past 15 years.
Yeah, right. And so it's a game of what you think that expected returns are going to be in the overall market. And so, yeah, you're right. I think there's a time period that you could probably take a withdrawal rate of 7% and it worked out just fine and you still had millions of dollars left over. I think what we're trying to do and talk about on the show is that, all right, this is a gauge to see how much money that you need in a pile of cash before you retire. Because I know a lot of our listeners are sophisticated, but some, they don't understand that, all right, if you have $100,000, you probably can't pull out $10,000 a year from that and have it last your entire retirement.
Right.
So... And then they're like, well, you can probably only pull out 4%. Well, could they pull out 6,000? Yeah, maybe. Right. But I think the point is that you probably want to be a little bit more conservative, right, as you're planning, because life happens and things kind of come into the way all the time. And if you plan conservatively, I mean, you got a little safety net.
Yeah, you got a little cushion.
Cushion.
Yep.
Cushion is key. All right. Well, that's it for us today, folks. Really appreciate all the questions, all the nice literature.
Yeah.
From the mailman. I'm the mailman.
You know, and your reading skills have been phenomenal
I
lately.
know. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Andy thought I'd stroked out.
Right.
She had a
Man, that's made an impact, apparently.
Well, when someone in the middle of the show pauses and says, "Joe, are you all right?"
Yeah, she got to call time out. A little spritzer, a little glass of water. No,
But
that's good.
you recovered somehow.
Yeah. No, just had a little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
Tired.
Right.
I feel good today.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Andy, wonderful job again. Aaron, thank you so much for all you do. You just sit there.
I think he's got some buttons he's pushing. I'm not really sure.
Something. All right. We'll see you next week. Just got your money.
Bye-bye.
Thanks once again to the American College of Financial Services for making it possible for us to bring you insights from Ed Slott, Jamie Hopkins, Wade Pfau, Michael Finca, and Jeff Levine over the past several weeks. I'm posting more interviews with thought leaders from the American College exclusively on the Your Money, Your Wealth YouTube channel. So hit the link in the episode description and make sure you're subscribed. You'll learn more from these financial brainiacs, and you'll get the latest from Joe and Big Al each and every week. Your Money, Your Wealth is presented by Pure Financial Advisors. If you're worried about outliving your savings or wondering if you're on track for retirement, schedule a free financial assessment from Pure Financial Advisors. Our experienced professionals will go beyond a simple spitball to analyze your income, expenses, assets, and debts and help you develop a clear roadmap for retirement, fully aligned with your needs, your goals, and your risk tolerance. Click or tap the free assessment link in the episode description or call 888-994-6257 to book a meeting either in person or online. The choice is yours. Pure Financial Advisors is a registered investment advisor. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this podcast and does not represent that the securities or services discussed are suitable for any investor. As rules and regulations change, podcast content may become outdated. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the podcast in the process of making a full and informed investment decision.